Hello everyone, welcome back. Apologies, it's been a couple of weeks since the last video. If you've been following the journey, I've just been off my feet for a little bit, so I'm just slowly starting to piece everything back together. Now, there's been a little bit happening in the last couple of weeks, which I'll bring you up to speed on now. We've had a bit of a chat about a driver for this car once it hits the track. We've been able to find some of the missing information in regard to what the front end of the car looked like. Some photos from a private test day in 2001 have unearthed what we needed to know. So that's really exciting, and it really puts us in a position now where we can finish this car off properly. Also, I'll run through with you the very latest, I guess, what's left and what we need to source for this car moving forward. Bit of a breakthrough with the ducting, airbox, etc. And also, there's a little bit of footage that we've dug up that'll show that the parity wars that we saw at Bathurst there last week, they've been on for some time. It hasn't just been an issue more recently. So I'll share all those details with you now, and I hope you enjoy. This is the very latest on the Super Cheap Auto, Steve Ellery, AU Restoration. So in the last few weeks, we've had a heap of photos sent in by you guys on all the cars, which we really appreciate. But one of them stands out, and we had a guy by the name of Mark sent us some photos from Queensland Raceway. Now, he's obviously a Queensland local because he had photos of FTR3 and the Super Cheap Auto Falcon, either at the Queensland 500 or during testing. And you'll see these photos here. These were taken of the Super Cheap Auto Falcon early in 2001. And as you can see, it's being tested with no side skirts on it. Now, there's been a few theories as to why that would be. Now, as you know, if you've been following the journey, the Super Cheap Auto Falcon, as it sits today, has the twin pipe system on it. So we've got exhaust outlets on the passenger side, and we've also got them on the driver's side. Now, one of the theories were, if you're trialing different exhaust systems and different layouts, you can't have your side skirts on, obviously. Other theories were baseline testing. It's just really cool to try and work out how things were done back in the day. But one of the groups of photos that Mark sent us was taken later in the year, we believe around August, and it's got some good photos of the Super Cheap Auto Falcon testing pre the Queensland 500. So Jeff Brabham was driving the car with Steve, and you can see both names are on the car, but it gives us a really good idea, I guess, some detailed shots of the car without wheels on it, up on double stands, just to give us an idea what brake package the car had in the time, front and rear, exhaust system, and quite a few other things. Now, the big breakthrough for us, and what's given us the motivation to kick on with this car again, is they were able to get a photo underneath the bonnet. Now, it isn't a great photo, it's taken from some distance away, but it's literally all we've got to work with on this car, because a lot of the under bonnet shots and everything else were all secret squirrel back in the day. You weren't allowed to get photos of them. Now, if you have a look at this photo here that was taken up on double stands, or up on stands obviously, you can see a silhouette of the airbox. Now, if you've been following the journey, you'll know that we had an issue when we put this car back together and we put the bonnet on the car. You put the airbox under there and the bonnet won't close, it's too tall. Now, we believed at the time that the airbox was built into the BA hump. Just keep in mind the car was a BA when we got it, and that's why the bonnet wouldn't shut. Now, to explain quickly what a BA hump is, the BA's got a bulge in the bonnet, so that's literally all it is. Now, when Ray Robbins was here, the ex-technical guy from Supercars from the early 2000s, he explained that there was this big, Holden basically kicked up a stink about it and said that you couldn't build the inlet trumpets, the airbox, into that BA hump. So he was surprised that that would be an issue. And we put it down to when the car was built into a ride car, it was modified. Now, to cut a long story short, we've got this photo, and you have a look at that silhouette. If you have a look here, it looks exactly the same as what we got off the car, even down to these rubber pieces on the side of the tray to seal the bonnet around it. So we're looking at that and going, well, that has to be very close. Now, I feel like a goose saying this. What it actually is, and keep in mind we spent a lot of time trying to find other airboxes and chase this down. What it is that is all original. This tray's original. Those air cleaners are wrong, and at some point they've been obviously sourced out of a different team that ran a different airbox. It's actually meant to sit recessed in like that and sit flat, but obviously that, like basically what's on the sides. So these air filters have obviously been sourced secondhand from somewhere, which is perfectly fine for a ride car, and that's how it's ended up. So you'll see here it was only about 20 mil higher, and you look at the gap that the bonnet had, it was massive, but when you're looking at the hinge point on the bonnet, obviously it multiplies that gap. So that's what our issue is. So you'll see in this bit of footage here, with those air cleaners removed, you sit this airbox back on the car, you sit it over the top of the trumpets, and it all fits in really neatly. Now it looks like we are going to have to make some air cleaners because they need to sit flush. There's no clearance at all between the top of this airbox and the bonnet, but now we can use what's there, and excitingly we know it's 100% original. So now we know which direction we're taking with the airbox, we can also finish off the front end of the car. So you'll see here the front crash structure, I suppose you'd call it, that was with the car when we got it. It's totally different to what would have been on the car back in the day. Now again, if we refer to these photos, there's a center toe point that's I guess being fitted into the front of the bar. So there must have been a pointed crash structure that goes in behind the front bar for it to have a toe point right in the center. Now there is a photo here which shows quite clearly that there was a totally different structure at the front of the car. Now you'll see here, this is what's on it when we had it. It's made out of aluminium, and as you can see, it's had more hits than Elvis over the years. It's completely destroyed. So we started to make up a new structure. Now that was before we obviously realised that we need to have a bit of a change in direction. So this was to be fabricated a lot heavier than what the car would have had in the day, purely because if we're going to transport the car around, and it's going to be in and out of trailers on winches and stuff like that, so we want to make sure that, you know, the toe point is strong. Obviously it'll be as accurate as possible, but it'll be a hell of a lot stronger than what was on it and fit for purpose for what we want to do with the car, taking it around tracks and bits and pieces. Now also with that airbox, it also enables us to finish off the rad ducting and all the little 1%ers. So you can see here, this is a second-hand radiator duct. It's a Paul Cruikshank one, and that's how it sits in the front of the AU bar. So basically it's just got rolled edges or flanged edges on it, and it hooks in like so. And that's so all the air that goes in the front of the car, it rams it straight through the radiator. They're all different from car to car. So what we do need to do is just make some modifications to this so it'll fit nice and cleanly on the front of the car and operate as we need it to. Brake ducts, fairly straightforward. They'll just go back on and we'll remount them. You can see they've it's really fiddly to get them to mount up properly because you just don't have any clearance between the inside of the racing slick and the brake duct when it's on full lock. Now as the car gets ever closer to returning to the track, we're now at a stage where we can replace some of the dated components in the car. And when I say dated, we're stuff that is only usable for a set period of time, or it's lifed in the car. So things we're talking like brake rotors, front and rear, brake pads, we'll flush some fresh fluids through the car again, get all that done, which is due to start shortly. And also little things like the seat belts in the car. Now this is one of the ones that came out of it. You can see everything's dated. Now that's not valid after 2009, so that's well out of date. Interestingly, the shoulder straps and the lap belts were different, so not too sure why that was the case, but we'll put a fresh set of belts in it. Depending on who you talk to, they're good for, you know, around a 5-year period. So well, the intention is we'll get plenty of use out of them. But basically by the time it hits the track, everything will be new, fresh, and it'll be able to be driven properly, which then brings us to the, I guess the question of who's going to drive it. So if you've been following the journey from the beginning, you'll know that I'm not in a position where I can actually drive the cars. It's medical, but yeah, it just prevents me from doing it, unfortunately. So I've had a few comments over the journey where people have said, you know, you should be driving the cars more, you should be doing this. you know, there's reasons why. I mean, blind Freddie can see if you've got an association with one of these cars, the first thing you're going to want to do is drive it. So unfortunately that's not an option, but that being said, I mean, if we try and keep everything period correct, ideally the name on the side of the car being the Alleries would be the ones you'd hand the keys to. There's also been some really other established drivers run the car as well. I mean, there's an association with the Brabham family. Luke Yulden ran it at Bathurst and brained everyone in the Konica Series race in 2002. He won by a considerable margin. So there's been some really established drivers that have driven this car. Obviously, you know, we want to try and keep it in that select group if we can. So our number one choice, obviously, is to reunite the car with Steve Ellery. I have spoken with him, albeit briefly, but he's certainly keen to be reunited with the car. And I guess our goal and the number one choice would be to, I guess, throw the keys to the Ellery family as a whole. And, you know, Steve's sons, they both race. It would be really cool to, I guess, enter the car in an event, whether it be a historic event, track day, whatever it is, and, you know, reunite the car with them. It's also, you know, fitting as well. You look on the inside of the door card on the passenger side, and you've got a tribute to the late Bruce Ellery, who passed away in 2022. So it would be, I guess, fitting to see them run around in the car again. So we're just trying to, I guess, while I'm off my feet, I'm just trying to piece together what that might look like, how we do it. Obviously the cars are quite expensive to run. It's expensive to ship them around to these events, and we'd like to do it where we can share the journey with you. So basically that's all ticking away behind the scenes. The exciting part is the Elleries are on board. It's now just up to me to try and make it all happen. So really excited to share this with you when it happens. Obviously we'll make sure the car's pristine, mechanically pristine. We'll get some assistance running it so it all can be driven properly. It's not just a lap or two waving out the window. If they want to give it some stick, they can. And you know, really have a trip down memory lane some 25 years on from the Sandown win. So yeah, that's where that's at the moment. I know a lot of you have been asking. We're really excited about it. As I said, just got a couple of hurdles to get over myself first, and really looking forward to piecing that all together and sharing it with you as it all comes together. So I'll keep you in the loop as we progress on car 31 and the other cars as well. I'm hoping in the next little bit I'll be able to get back in here properly and start to make some progress on the cars, which I'll share with you as I go. But for now, I'll leave you with some footage that we've dug up of this car at Bathurst, and this is in 2000, the engine and running gear from 2001, and also again this car in 2002. And it goes to show the parity argument that we've been having has been, I guess, with Ford and Holden, it's been around for a very, very long time. And you look at this car's straight line handling at the time, if that was to happen today, I'm sure Holden would be up in arms about it, like Ford fans are now with what we saw at Bathurst last week. So I hope you enjoy this footage. We'll keep you up to speed and look forward to having more for you soon. Thanks again.
Got it bogged out in the grass, got stuck on the curb, dropped the lap, and now he has been driving the wheels off this car to try and get himself back into contention.
Incredible performance from him when you consider that he's had two spins, one down at the chase and one at the top of the mountain.
Here he goes.
Showing the pace that he's showing is unbelievable now. On the outside of Larry Perkins in the Castrol Commodore. Here he comes, Stephen Ellery sweeping down into the chase. That is one less car he's got to pick off in his bid to unlap himself.
Yeah, that car's got some speed in a straight line. We saw that at Sandown.
He's closed the gap, he hasn't locked a brake, he hasn't overshot the corner, and he's got a bit of a sit on him. Now the Falcon's a little bit stronger, I think, than the Commodore down here with the slipstream. We'll just see what happens, but he'll be, he's coming after him.
Luke Yulden in the tow. Will he be close enough? Doesn't look like it at the moment as they go. Having said that, Yulden snaps to the inside, side by side, down into the chase, and Yulden makes it stick.
Yeah, that's a bit interesting. He came from a long way back there. I'm not quite sure what's going on.
Have you been surprised
there
by the pace? We asked all the drivers who come up here, and everyone has said, well, we thought sort of 12s, but had no idea it would be 10s and 11s.
Yeah, I said before the race 12s, but we'll do whatever anyone asks. And you know, I'm surprised that we're in the 10s. Yeah, certainly start of the race. I don't know why guys are pushing that hard.
There's a few of these teams, Jason, a few of these privateer type teams, like the Super Cheap team, like Brad Jones, Aussie Male Falcon. They've been giving you guys, your factory guys, a real hard time.
Yeah, it's great to see. You know, I think it's just a credit to the formula that we got at the moment. You know, it's great that these guys can run competitively.